Mm-hmm.
All right, something that Nord wanted to
I'd like to
give a
co-sign that
couple
statement.
brain cells to. I believe
Yeah,
this was I
just a
believe
few.
this was you, right? So you want to take it away and
Yes.
tell me.
Yeah. Low information voters. It actually kind of rolls from last topic into this one a little bit because we're talking about like, at what point does his base turn on him? Because, I mean, no bones about it. His base is flooded with just
Yeah.
bad information, either conspiratorial information or just straight up lying or, you know, whatever. You go down the rabbit hole of online MAGA, and it is full of misinformation.
Sure. And it's people who vote against their own interests. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I
But
said with
to
the last
say
topic.
are they to blame for failures in our democracy? I think that's too much.
Well, I mean,
Um.
voters have a responsibility. People have
Well.
fuck voters. People have a responsibility
Mhm.
to be properly informed, I think.
I think that is true. I think that is true. I think that is true as far as if you want a nice, clean, and respectful society, you have to put in effort to make it be one. Which, if you can vote appropriately,
Right.
I'm saying, sure, sure, yeah,
So, I mean, my sort of prompt here was what essentially what the fuck do we do about this? Because
So
so
let
I
me
said
ask you
we need to
this.
address the constant barrage of misinformation that
Yeah.
plagues algorithms that feed people's attention daily, and also how can we fix the steady stream of bad faith actors and bad information online? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's majority way that people consume their quote unquote news is through algorithms and from like political influencers, which is just a weird fucking thing. Like the Charlie Kirks of the world, you know?
Yeah.
How do we fix that?
I would say if we
I mean, look, yeah, go ahead.
if we actually look at, dude, and again, anybody who ever listens to this, I'm reaching far around myself and pulling it out of myself right now. But I believe that
Okay.
back in the day there was tighter like TV regulations and stuff like that. There was
Mm-hmm.
actual rules and laws that were
Yeah.
stringent or regulations, whatever. And to say that that was a can we say a better time than now for misinformation? Does that make sense? Or that was like
For
it's just what I'm
misinformation,
trying to say is
yes.
what the picture I'm trying to paint is sometimes, depending on what you're looking at, like more or less oversight is needed. And I think at times when there's been more oversight over what's communicated, things were more based in reality. I
Yes.
think that's right. There we go. See, dude, I'm a
Uh,
little slow, so you gotta let me get there. But yeah, we got there. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
to me, there was way less misinformation, but there was way more control of the narrative. So when you had just
Yes.
several
Sure.
news agencies,
It wasn't
there
some
was
golden era of integrity.
right. There was definitely
Sure.
stuff that was being ignored
Oh, sure.
because there was
Yeah.
a sort of quiet understanding that we don't talk about certain things. Like I'm sure the truth about the Vietnam War was buried a lot early on into that war,
Oh, sure. Oh,
um,
yeah.
because we just weren't having a great deal of success there.
Yeah.
But there's also just stuff that never got talked about because there was a tight control on media. But now we're kind of in I think a worse problem where sure nothing can really be hid anymore, but also now there's so much out there and so many bad faith actors trying to just commoditize people's attention
Mm-hmm.
that there's too much information. There's too many things being looked at. There's lies everywhere. There's half truths everywhere. It's
So
just it feels
again,
worse
and
than legacy
nobody.
media with their control of
Right.
sort of the commentary.
Right.
Almost to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I forgot I was gonna say, but you know what this whole discussion reminds me of too is, the old Kyle Kulinski, which I still watch all these years.
Sure, same.
Yeah, it does good work. But lately, he has, especially since the election, been really, like he used to say all the time, independent media is better than legacy media. But now he's like, dude, it all gets weird, you know. Now, even today, like, it all gets weird.
I've definitely noticed. I've noticed him making those comments as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, he's right because independent media that holds
look.
themselves to a standard is phenomenal. It's great. They do a lot of great
So
work on stuff that might not be
he
covered, but
internally regulates himself. Let's use him as an
yeah,
example. He internally regulates himself by choosing not to take any money and any payouts directly related to his show, which has cost him plenty of
advertising.
money over the years. Tons of money over the years has cost him, for sure.
Sure, I believe it.
But we, time and time again, cannot like think that everyone can just do that when they don't. So again, and nobody likes I love being the whole like more government and more regulation because F you, because I feel like more and more as time goes on, that's very like counterculture. Which listen, I'll live it, I'll love it, I'll embrace it. Communism all the way. But based in history of literally airwaves in this country and how at times more regulation and more control was better, I'm going with somehow you would create some board or you would fund whatever agency, FCC, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Give it more teeth. Give it actual serious funding to like do scientific research studies and make actual recommendations and changes to things based on vigorous studies that are peer reviewed, and somehow you can also check and balance that to some other part of government in some way, and then that would be like at a really let's not think this through at all level, but come up with some vague idea of you just bring back good regulation. That's what you do.
Sure.
Nobody likes that
ever,
but
right.
Yeah.
I just don't see how you do that with the current model of like regulating that would be a bitch and a half because there's just a million places online you can be a piece of shit and spread misinformation.
Yeah, well,
I don't
in this day and age, even how weird it is these days, it's still relatively safe to like the death totals and then every other era, like whatever, dude. So like I don't know, you can do a lot with fining, especially when these are companies. You just fine them into like bankruptcy and say, well, fuck off. Like you broke the rules, you kept breaking the rules, and I fined you, and so that's within the boundaries of what I can do, and so now you're dead. Too bad. Like we don't care. We're gonna laugh in your face and piss in your mouth because you didn't follow the rules. Like. Now, everyone notices as I talk, I get really excited when we talk about government control because I'm a communist.
Here we go. Sure.
In all seriousness, though, no, some regulation, right? Like something that makes it like it,
I mean, I hear you. I just feel like it's a tall order. But to me, the bigger problem is.
I'm not saying that's feasible. No.
Well, this is my concern, right? Because to me, democracy falls apart when you have the amount of misinformation that we do.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
Okay, but has it fallen apart already with the misinformation that we have? Can I ask you that? Yes or no?
It's not looking great.
Okay,
I mean,
so no. A begrudging no from you, but a no nonetheless.
Well, let's define fall apart, but sure, give me 16 more years of democracy in the internet age, and I'm sure that shit's gonna get fucking weird.
Yeah.
I'd bet my left eye sticale on that. Because if you think about it,
Sure.
and when I say the online age, I mean the age of social media, content algorithm machines that people just stare their face into for at least an hour or more a day. And that's probably been since about like 2014 maybe?
Sure.
So we've got 11 years under our belt, and somehow Trump became president again after January 6th. So to me, that is a direct failure of
information.
Information, absolutely, because that should have been unforgivable. And somehow he's president again.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
What the fuck?
Obviously, like the intense hatred that some of these people also have for Democrats. not just the intense
Oh.
love they feel for theirs, but
Yeah.
it's like so weird. It's like really like
It feels like culturally right
why
now,
do
if you were
why do you care so much about someone you've never met? Like
yeah,
you lose sleep at night over someone you've never met? Like what are we doing? So
there was a,
yeah.
I forget his fucking name, some bro podcaster who made a comment the other day. I just saw a clip of it, and it was something to the effect of, if you're a man and you identify as a Democrat, you're
I
under
saw that.
5'9" or
I'm
something to that
I'm like,
effect.
this is
I was like,
what a clown.
what is that weird comment? What is that weird comment? What is that even fucking?
It's punching. The comedians that think punching down is funny never ceases to amaze anyone, right? It never does.
Sure.
And it feels like it's a defense mechanism for comedians that have made it already, made a lot of money, and are having a hard time staying relevant or coming up with new material, or even maybe putting themselves out too much. I'm being serious with this critique. I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, or maybe even putting themselves out too much by recording too much shit. And then you
Sure.
just start saying things like that. That's when you got to take a step back and be like, look, like, maybe I got to, like, take a breath, take a moment. It's like, it just doesn't, it's like, even if you think people that you disagree with are despicable, why would you say the things that you say out loud? Like, it's astounding to me. Sometimes these people say these things, and I'm just like,
It does nothing but add toxicity to the rhetoric. Like, what are we supposed to?
and
What
nobody
are we supposed
and
to do with a statement like that?
right, and nobody around him
Pretty
ever respectfully is just like, bro, like that's like nobody. Oh, you're gonna tell me what not to say? Like, no, I would just be like, dude, that's like stupid. Again, punching down. It's like the best way to sum it up. It's just so dumb, man. It's so dumb.
It's just it's worthless. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that comment brings to the rhetoric is people clowning on each other. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just dumb fucking
Yeah, and
stereotypes, essentially.
I don't know. I think you do too because of the spaces that we inhabit when we consume stuff. Dude, I think disagreements are way more entertaining. It just sucks when disagreements feel not in good faith. That's when it stinks, dude.
Yes.
And that's when everyone's like,
Yes.
yo, I don't even care. Like, I don't want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to do nothing. Yeah.
And to me, like 60 to 70% of the mainstream independent, like cultural conversations are bad faith. They're all bad. It's a majority bad faith. And it's just it's
I think
frustrating.
for me, in real life, things are still pretty good faith, and this is how society stays together. But I think what's changed from like 15 years ago that I feel is when you do find out, however, someone has views that might like even like strongly disagree with you, you just don't know if them finding out how you feel would be like a negative thing that they would react. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that. It's like if I know certain views of someone, I kind of know that they're heavy already, and so like I'm not gonna share. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna share because like it just doesn't help for you to find out that like you know.
Yeah, it does depend. Yeah, depends on who you're talking to. There's very few
people. If you hate the, LGBTQ community, but then find out that I cross-dress every Tuesday and Friday, you're not gonna be happy, dude. So, you just kind of try to. Anyways.
Do you cross-dress every?
With my figure, not an ounce of fat on my body, I look pretty stunning. So that's all I have to say about that.